Autumn. What's your name?
I'm Lucas Stiers.
Hi, Lucas. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so we're here because I have this sign that says, is only factory farming bad?" And by bad, in this case, we mean unethical. And but before we get into that, I was kind of wondering, how you would define factory farming. Like, what specific practices do you think they use?
Well, I don't know much about it, but I know they use like GMOs and stuff, maybe like antibiotics, maybe that kind of stuff, like mass producing it,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then how would you uh how would you what do you think a non-factory farming situation would look like?
Maybe like growing animals naturally. I mean, you wouldn't be able to grow them in bulk like factory farming would, but yeah, I guess there's pros and cons to it.
Okay. So what I want to talk about first is slaughter. So do you know some of the methods that animals are killed?
Uh, Not really. No. I mean, I know. I'm guessing in factories, but yeah.
Okay. Um so the most a common method, like with cows and stuff, is they use a captive bolt gun to and they shoot it through the cow's brain to render them unconscious, and then they cut their throat and they bleed out. And for pigs, most pigs are actually killed in CO2 gas chambers. Um, and you can't breathe in carbon dioxide, obviously, so they essentially suffocate to death, and then afterwards, their throats are cut.
Uh, yeah. I mean, the bolt to the head that's pretty quick and painless, but the CO2 chamber that's a little much in my eyes. But I'm not an expert on it, so.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is if you think there's a humane way to kill an animal.
Um, I mean, yeah, I think there can be rights, but yeah, I guess it depends on the animal and like how they're being slaughtered. I suppose, yeah.
What would a humane way to kill an animal look like for you?
Humane way. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'd say like the way they put dogs down, like injecting it, but I those animals are used for eating, so I don't know if you want to put that in there. So yeah, I guess the bolt to the head, like they would in cows, like that's quick.
Do you think that, these animals have the will to live?
The will to live.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like they don't want to die, and like they tried to, fight for their life as they're being killed.
Well, I'm sure they do, just like every living organism. I mean, that's natural urge.
Okay. Um, yeah, exactly. So since they have this, will to live, um, how do you think they get the animals into the knockbox, the place where they kill them, if they don't want to go willingly?
Well, they probably hurt them in. I mean, they're animals. I'm sure they don't know like what a gas chamber is or what a gun is. So like, yeah.
Well, in slaughterhouses, they can smell the blood, and they often see the ones before them being killed. So, they try to avoid going into the knockbox or, the gas chamber, and they get them to, go into it forcefully they use like electric prods to shock them, and then if they're small enough, they can just throw them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't say that's humane, but yeah, I definitely get what you're saying.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is with humans, we see humans as having inherent value. And what I mean by that is, we don't have to do or provide anything in order to matter. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, No, I would.
Okay. And I think often with non-human animals, we don't, um, you know, adhere them to the same kind of value. We usually expect something out of them. If we can't make money off their body, or if we can't eat their body, or if we can't, use their body in some other way for our benefit, then they're essentially seen as worthless. And, veganism seeks to challenge this. So, you've heard of veganism, right?
Yeah, I've heard of veganism.
So, what in your mind, what, how would you define veganism?
Well, I'm not a vegan, but I'm pretty sure it's just the act of not consuming animal products.
Okay.
You think it's morally wrong?
Yeah. Diet is part of it. There's other ways we use and kill animals for our benefit, right? So what do you think of, that idea that, you know, animals are not here for us to use or kill?
Well, I think God put every animal on this earth for a reason, but I also don't think it's our job to decide what that is.
Okay. So I'm assuming you're Christian since you mentioned God.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, I'm not religious anymore, but I did grow up Christian. And from my understanding of the Bible, God asks us to be, stewards of animals, when He gave us dominion over them and not, be tyrants of them. So, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think like capitalism and like the industries are like over farming like creatures, and it's not what should be done. But yeah, that's kind of how it ends up.
Okay. Well, we have some resources for you, and I appreciate, the interview very much. I'm glad
Yeah.
you talked to me.